All right, kids, welcome back. So today we're going to be taking down all of the electric line and hopefully all the T-posts from this former cow pasture. It's going to be a pain in the butt, but we're going to get it done. I apologize for the traffic going by. And what we're also going to do is play everyone's favorite game. What's the most redneck thing you've seen today? Now, I know what you're thinking. Kyle, is that an old hose roll-up ratchet strap to your tractor? It sure is. I've never done this before, but somebody at the feed store tossed me this idea. Rolling up used electric line is probably my most hated chore. I absolutely despise it. It's just a pain in the ass, and I do reuse a decent amount of my electric line. If it's still in good condition, why not? I'm not going to buy more. So we're going to go ahead and see how this works and give it a try. See if it's something that'll work for you guys going forward or whatever. So I'm going to set you guys up. This is probably going to be a time-lapse heavy episode just because of what's going on, but hopefully by the time we're done with it, we're going to have a nice clean pasture. So we're going to go ahead and set you guys up, and we will see you in a minute. Well, I know what you're probably thinking. Kyle, there's no way that worked as well as you think it would. It did. It worked fantastic. If you've ever rolled up electric line and just saw that, you're probably as shocked and pissed off that you've never thought about it as I am at this moment. So I'm going to go ahead and get the rest of these taken down. I got to charge my camera, so I didn't plan this out very well. So I'm going to go ahead and get a couple of these strands done. And then I'll pull you guys back out when I start pulling T-posts. All right, kids, we're back. Sorry about that. Honestly, it probably saved the trouble of watching me time-lapse roll up electric line, but it worked fantastic. It worked so much better than I thought it was going to, that it completely changed my entire thought on it. If you're at a yard sale or you're at the dump and you see one of these things laying around and you deal with electric line, pick it up. It's worth it. Because I even tested pulling it off. Comes off super easy. There's a couple spots where I have mended some of the lines where I will go through and pick, kind of depending on how they look, what we're going to do with that. Before I pulled out the T-post, I just kind of wanted to show you kind of what we're working with so you have a better understanding of this pasture, because I don't think I've walked you through this one. So this was all birch and aspen saplings when we came in here. It was the original horse pasture on the property. So all of this is the remnants of that. I started doing it the correct way and going out and wrapping a chain around the base and pulling out everything and the roots and everything. And about a third of the way through, I was like, well, I'm done. So then we just started running them over. So everything got pushed into these corners. When it was just the regular electric line, I had a couple of different angles that I worked on it. But with this one, we are just going to do a straight line from the corner all the way down there. So this wood post won't be there. We'll take that out and we'll run a straight line down. As you can see, was a ton of storm damage over the winter. So even if I wasn't going to be doing woven wire, I was going to have to go through and redo all of this. And honestly, that's my bad. I should have gone out and cleaned up some of the trees that were over here. This was my first major fencing project when we started raising livestock. I apologize for all the cars and trucks going by. The road is literally right there. There are some saplings and stuff still down. I'm not too worried about it. Again, we're putting pigs in here, so they'll go through, root everything up, and honestly do some of the work for me. There is the original fence for this pasture is actually over here in this tree line. We're gonna walk over here. And it's encased in all of these trees that have grown up and all of these conifer bushes. My wife asked if I was gonna come in here and tear all this out, and I was like, once the pigs have done their job, I'll just come through here and sprinkle crack corn in. They'll root out all these bushes and all that stuff. It'll make my job 1,000 times easier. But so we've had animals on this pasture probably 2 years now, 2-3 years, and it has definitely come back a lot. It's hard. Our soil is super sandy, but it is getting there. You can tell some of the spots where we've had brown bale feeders a little bit too long, where it's definitely worn down the soil, but then other spots where it's definitely seeded the soil quite a bit. So it's catch-22. But hopefully once we get the pigs in here, once they start really rooting everything up, it'll definitely make this area a lot more fertile, and we'll be able to have some good, decent ground to get some good pasture in here. So what I am going to do is I'm going to go ahead and get you guys set up, and I am just going to start pulling posts. We're not going to pull these out of this area because we're just going to end up putting them back in once we get the woven wire in. So I'm just going to go ahead and set you guys up and go to town. All right, so we are back. So we went through, took out all the T-posts. There's still that corner post out there that I'm not too worried about because that's not where the new corner is going to be. So I will handle that later. There were a couple saplings that needed to be taken out that they were just going to be in the way of the fence. And there's always a fun excuse to use the tractor. So, mine. So, I'm gonna stop at the moment and run the tractor supply because no fencing project is complete with at least one trip to tractor supply. We're gonna get another bale of woven wire, some lag bolts, stuff like that. And probably today we're gonna get the rest of our corners built. So we're gonna go ahead and shut you guys off, and when we come back, we'll be putting in corners. All right, kids, we're back. So our trip to tractor supply was successful. We got some more woven wire, got a couple extra supplies we're gonna need. A good tip is if you're gonna be raising livestock and you have like a tractor supply or like local feed store near you, become friends with everyone who works there, because they're going to help you. Like, this roll was a little wonky. It looked like it opened up when it was coming off the pallet. Still perfectly fine. Like, the ends are a little wonky, but that is what it is. They knocked 25% off. It's awesome. Little stuff like that. Like, I have a guy at the one I go to that he'll purposely set stuff aside because he'll know I'll buy it. So what we are going to do now is we're going to go ahead and get some corner posts set up. Actually, we really only need to do one corner post and one other stationary post on this line. This further line going down this way is, we're probably going to need probably 2 or 3 along that one. The reason I am shortening this pasture is, with the woven wire, it's just going to be 1,000 times easier to just do a straight line. This section where my truck is right now, that'll end up being storage for something. I'll end up putting something here. There's a little bit of road access. I just got to clear out some trees. But again, it's pasture that I could be using, but it's going to save me so much time and energy just doing a straight line. So we're just going to go ahead, put in new corners, and we're going to get going with it. I'm going to hopefully get this backside run with woven wire and get that out of the way. We'll see where life takes us today. So I'm going to go ahead, get you set up, and we're going to get going with it. So 2 things. As you can tell, it's hot as hell out. So summer's finally here. So, and also, apparently every rock that is on this property is in this back corner. I forgot about it until I made my first shovel or first dig, and I was like, oh yeah. So if everything's gonna take this long, what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna go ahead and pull you guys back in once I start securing the long posts on the corners, just so you guys can kind of see. Again, I'm sure most of you already know how to make corner posts, but we're just gonna make a video on it because we can. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go ahead and stop this. I gotta go switch over some animal waters, and next time you see us, we'll have all the corners all set and good to go. All right, kids, we're back. So everything's in the ground. I've already gone through and put in my screws where the posts are gonna sit. So what I am going to do now, get everything all screwed in, get it nice and tight. I was hoping to keep going on this tonight, but I just watched my boar, you can actually kind of see it from here, break through a steel gate, and now he's back in with the sow, and the sow's in where he's supposed to be. So I'm gonna have to go take care of that. So we're gonna finish up this corner post, and after that, we're gonna be done for the night. We're making headway. We're getting there. I mean, I probably only have to put in 1, 2, 3, 4, probably 6 more wood posts, and I'm ready to run the rest of the woven wire along this. So we're getting there. So I'm gonna go ahead, bust this out, and we'll be all set. again, not the prettiest quarters on the planet, but you know what? They're going to do the job. Especially once we start tightening everything up, things are going to start shifting and moving a little bit anyway, so it'll all be fine. Like I said, I wanted to get something out to you guys, so I appreciate you watching. Hopefully next time I'll have the rest of all the wood posts put in, and we'll actually have some different content to show you guys. So until next time, we'll see ya.